thing that we all are concerned, we bring up in our daily discussion. What is that? One thing that's of utmost concern to all of us, and we hear it a lot in our daily routine. It's a concern, it's something that we are trying to overcome. Stress, absolutely right. Stress. That's one word that every household somehow brings it up in conversation, that I'm too stressed, I couldn't finish this, or it's too much, which is giving me stress. So, one thing we all know, that stress contributes towards every disease. It's a major contributor. So how is this stress caused? Let's try to understand that. What is this stress? When we have so much to do, so many things that need to be done, and we have less time to do that, that's what causes the stress. Our mind feels burdened to complete too many projects in too less time, and we feel stressed. Am I right? So, if we think about it, number of projects that we need to do cannot be shortened or lessened. We have to do what we have to do. We cannot expand the time. We only have 24 hours. We can't make it 26 hours in a day. So does that mean that we will never be able to eliminate stress from our life? That the number of projects will always stay the same? The amount of time that we have will always stay the same? And are we going to continue to be stressed about it? Then if that is the case, how can we live a happy life? And yoga has an answer for that. It teaches us that yes, we cannot increase the number of hours, and yes, we cannot shorten the number of projects, but if we can increase the energy that we have inside our body, then we will be able to handle the same number of tasks in the right amount of time without stressing our mind. And this is where yoga helps a lot. It helps us to increase our inner energy, where our capability to handle things instantly becomes more and more and more. And that puts a smile on our face. It's like this, that when we go out and earn wealth, with that wealth, what do? We buy comfort items. The more the merrier. The more money we have, more of the comfort items we can buy for the outer pleasures. Similarly, our inner energy is also wealth. The more wealth of inner energy we are going to create, more of the comfort, inner comforts in terms of inner happiness, inner positivity, inner purity, inner divinity, inner peace. All of these things will continue to stay with us with that wealth of higher energy, more energy. And this is where yoga helps us. If we don't do anything about it, then the same stress can cause anxiety and depression. It will bring disease in the body. It will bring anxiety in mind and confusion in intellect. So, one aspect of yoga helps us to increase our inner energy, where there is so much light. Think of it, when sun shines and the sunlight falls on the earth, it gives light, it dispels the darkness. At the same time, it helps all the flowers to bloom, all the crops to become ripened. Similarly, yogic practice, meditation, when we start to do these practices, it first brings it takes the darkness away from our inner side. It dispels the negativity, the darkness, the dark forces, and at the same time it increases so much light, where there is clarity of vision, and it ripens our mind, where the wisdom stays with us. As we age, our wisdom increases. As we age, our happiness increases. As we age, the negative emotions, the negative feelings start to go away. Now, how do I know that I am moving in this direction? We all need to judge ourselves from time to time. Am I getting happier? Am I getting less and less stressed? How do I know? And one way of finding out, it is so easy. It's just like when we have a leg pain. It's so obvious. Oh, I have a leg pain. It becomes so obvious. Exactly the same way, when you start to feel that your thoughts are becoming positive, more and more your thoughts are becoming less and they're becoming positive. Two, that you are not thinking about others. If you keep thinking about other people, that means you are stressed. When you focus on your own self, you're thinking about me. How can I become better? How can I make my today better than yesterday? Am I happier than yesterday? So when I feel that my feelings inside are becoming really happy, my thoughts are becoming stronger, positive and less, I'm thinking and focusing more on myself than others, and my irritation is going down. That means I'm progressing. I'm increasing my inner energy. But if it's the opposite, where I'm constantly thinking about other people, the entire day, 24 hours, I'm thinking, why so and so didn't do this? I did this for so and so and that person didn't return my favor. Constantly thinking about the world all day. And that's what's agitating me, making me anxious. And my feelings inside are not pure. I'm not able to trust people. I'm so negative. My doubts are increasing. That means I am going to continue to increase more stress. I'm very stressed. I must do something about it. It's an alarm. It's one way of diagnosing our mental health. And very important that we become our own physicians to diagnose our mental and emotional health on a daily or weekly basis. And if we are not able to do it at home, it's wonderful when we do yoga here. We start out by listening to this higher knowledge and then do yoga practices. That once a week at least, rejuvenate. It's like recharge your body so that you're ready to handle the next week. And one thing is for sure, we are born yogis, let me tell you. We forget. Yoga used to be a taboo. 20, 30 years ago when people would mention the word yoga, people say, oh, it's not for me. As if it was a choice. It's not for me. It's for others. Oh, this posture and this posture. We won't be able to do it. So people didn't bring it up in their daily conversations. But today, the awareness has increased where yoga is almost a need, and not a want, to lead a happy life. So think about it. When babies are born, what do they do? If you watch, I'm watching my grandson, who's now 4 months old, and what do babies do? First thing they do is they lift up their feet. Have you noticed? They lift up their feet. They're doing all the yoga asanas. That's how they're born. And then next thing they learn, they try to turn on their stomach and they're lifting their head, Bhujangasana. And then what babies are doing, third thing is They lift up their feet, they try to put it in their mouth. So there's almost like a Pavan Muktasana. They are bringing their knees to chest. So we are born babies. Babies are doing all the asanas. And have you noticed that because they are doing all the yogasanas, they're so pure from inside. One moment they could be crying, next moment they're smiling. How quickly they forget about their pains. Instantly the tears dry up. And then think about it. Yoga, one thing that yoga does, there's so many benefits. We can talk about it all day and still not be enough. One of the benefits that yoga brings to us is skill in action. It brings skill in everything we do. Perfection prevails. Whoever starts to do yoga. So, our communication skills become very powerful. And when I say communication skills, many times you go and attend conferences, business conferences, where they teach you how to communicate. I'm not talking about those skills. A person can come and speak for hours, and the moment you leave the room, all the words that you have heard also vanish. That is not an impressive communication. I'm talking about the communication that touches the heart. It stays with you. Once you hear that word, it's never forgotten. And what is that? Think, a baby can communicate through his smile in 2 minutes and wins your heart, isn't it? Can an adult communicate the way baby communicates? Without speaking a single word, baby can communicate so much and can just steal your heart. Why? Because of the yogi. The purity, the innocence within the baby. All we need to do is we need to just go back to our baby stage. That's all. That's what yoga is. That when we start doing yogic postures, when we start doing breathing exercises, when we start doing meditation, first thing happens is our energy around us, within us, our aura, our purity increases, where our presence is felt. Without even speaking any words, our positive vibrations can touch the other person's heart, and it can make them feel so comfortable without them even speaking or uttering a single word. This is the power of yoga. That's when your relationships start to improve, because you will say few words and in your home everybody will listen to you. At your work everyone will listen to you. Your interactions with the world will improve. Everyone would want to be with you. So when you think positive, when you're happy from within, what happens? All the cortisol levels inside your body, the levels start to go down and the energy starts to increase. The higher energy, more power you start to feel, and the end result is depression never touches you, anxiety never touches you. Yes, it can be done. You know, WHO, World Health Organization, has already predicted by 2020, depression, anxiety will be the #1 leading cause of death. Right now, it's the heart problems. Heart attack is the #1 cause of death, which the major contributor towards that is blood pressure. But 2020, because if you look at the stats in Europe, 40% people are depressed. 40%, most recent stats. On an average in the world, 1 out of 4 people are dealing with some sort of mental problems. And Prozac is not the answer, let me tell you. Any other medicine in the allopathy is not the answer. The answer is yoga. The more yogic practices you'll do, if you have an anxiety, if you are feeling sad and lonely, it will take care of it. 2, if you don't have it, it will keep you that way. As you grow, you will continue to become more wiser, more healthier, more happier. It will not touch. It's like buying an insurance that protects you, that guides you. So, skill in action. Next thing happens that we start to become more and more responsible. We all play so many roles. We play a role as a father, as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter, as a son, as a friend, as a colleague, co-worker. So many roles, one little body, one little mind, so many roles, and we have to be perfect in every role. Wherever we fail, sadness and pain enters. So, to play all those roles, the power of intellect is needed so that there's clarity. Every role requires more clarity, less confusion. And as clarity increases in our mind, everything is crystal clear and we have no confusion. Our relationships, our interactions with the world increase. So, responsibility towards my own self. If lack of responsibility makes us blame others. Every time we fail, we blame others. I didn't win because so and so didn't do this correctly. We are constantly blaming others when we fail. And let me tell you, yogic scriptures teach us that whenever we fail and whenever we blame others, we are telling others that you control us. Isn't it? Because of you, I couldn't succeed, which means I'm telling you, you are controlling me. That means I'm not under my own control. So with yogic practices, with meditation, we start to control our own behaviors, where we don't blame others, but we continue to find gray areas that will help us to become a better human being. Now think about it, every game we play, everything we do, we abide by the rules, isn't it? When we buy a new game and we sit down in holiday time and we're playing as a family, what do? First, we make sure everybody understands the rules of that game so that everyone plays fairly and intelligently. Similarly, to play the game of life, we must know and understand the rules. How to play this game of life. And that's where yogic science becomes a manual. It's a manual for human life. It teaches you step by step how to live life every day that is filled with bliss, with happiness, with peace. So we must learn the laws of universe. We must learn the yogic steps to live our daily lives, and then once we know those rules, then there is no failure. Because we are playing every day's game with awareness, higher awareness, with higher consciousness, with higher intellectual powers, with clarity, with wisdom, and with happiness. Have you seen when you're happy? I'm sure you all have noticed when you're happy in the day time, what happens? Your heart expands. There's so much expansion happening inside. That day, even when you hear something that is not so pleasant, what do you say? It's okay, I can deal with it. You're so happy, right? You'll say, it's okay, I think I can deal with it. Your heart expanding and your nature, your mind broadens and your vision broadens and you're not even concerned about petty little things. But the day you are sad, you get up and you're very sad, that means your heart is shrinking. And that's when if somebody just says one little thing, just a very small little thing, and that would disturb you so much. Why? Because you're already shrinking, there's so much constriction happening inside you that one little thing will make you feel very sad. So what is yoga? Yoga is to watch the expansion and the shrinkage and rise above it. Rise above it, where none of this touches you. You're always in a state where whether you have the world, you're happy, and if you don't have the world, you're still happy. These are the things. Why do we start this session? It's important to know and understand the practice that I'm about to do is going to open up my heart, negate all the constrictions that are in my body, allow the blood to flow, allow the oxygenated blood to circulate in all my systems, and I'm going to feel light, and I will have control of my mind and body in my hands and not other people's hands. It's very important to know what I'm about to do is going to bring so much power. So much power I'm going to possess after doing these practices. And the last thing before we start the yoga stretches, think about it. When you are working on a computer at home and your Wi-Fi speed is slow, you get frustrated, right? Am I right? Oh God, it's taking me. Everybody, has this experience, right? At work or at home. Oh my God, today is taking me 10 times more to get through. The speed is slow and it frustrates me. Not happy about it. Then when I'm driving the car on the road and someone comes in front of me who's driving slow, what's the instant reaction? God, wish she can just move away so I can pick up the speed. Am I right? Concerned about the speed, right? When we are listening to the music, and same thing, and because of the technology, if we are not able to listen it clearly, we are concerned. Every little thing that doesn't happen according to our expectation, we're concerned. So yogic science teaches us, do the same thing. Why are we not picking up the speed to increase our happiness, to increase our joy, to increase our peace, to bring balance in our life? Why aren't we doing the same thing that we're doing on the outside? We're never concerned. The speed that we are picking up to bring these kinds of comfort things for the inner body, inner mind is so slow. Sometimes it's not even happening. We're living with sleeping consciousness. And when that happens, that's when stress increases, that's when anxiety increases, that's when depression kicks in. And that's when we lose interest in living this life. So, the moment we start to do these practices, and as our practices deepen, we start to pick up speed. And when the speed is picked up, where even if we meditate for 2 minutes, but there is that quality, the technique is right, the quality is there, the focus is there, the connection is there, instant benefit, instantly. How do you know that you're progressing in meditation? How do you know that you're progressing in your yogic practices? Instantly you start to feel so much energy inside. It's like a blossoming inside. You feel like there's air conditioned inside. You know how when the room is air conditioned you feel so comfortable? Now think the same air condition is happening. Inside is air conditioned. And now whether the heat comes from the world or cold comes from the world, in terms of cold behaviors or too hot behaviors, nothing touches you. You have put an insulation around your body that stops from the heat and the turmoil of the world to come and penetrate through you, and at the same time cold, negative behaviors, painful behaviors don't touch you. And you are protected, you're guided in the right direction. In the light of yoga, you ripened, you lift up your energy and you start to move upwards. And you will feel it, trust me. If you're doing it right, you will feel so much light, you will feel so much joy. So with these words of wisdom, let's go ahead and stand up. We'll do our yogic.